Good morning and happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is Justin Nimergood. I am the host of the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. Today, I'm so excited to have the guest that we have on with us today, Mr. Matt Meredith. Today's guest is passionate about helping families, entrepreneurs, and investors protect and preserve wealth through smarter legal, tax, and financial strategies. Matt Meredith is an attorney, certified financial planner professional, and a wealth strategist, as well as the founder of Meridian Legal Advisors. With more than 15 years of experience, Matt takes a holistic approach to real estate planning by combining legal insight, tax strategy, asset protection, and investment planning under one roof. His work focuses on helping clients move beyond traditional surface level estate plans by creating strategies that are designed to actually function when families face probate, lawsuits, taxes, or generational wealth transfers. Before launching Meridian Legal, Matt led his own law practice where he guided families through estate planning, probate, and trust administration. Those real world experiences shaped his philosophy of building plans that work not just on paper, but in practice. Earlier in his career, he also held leadership roles at JP Morgan Securities and Capital One Investing, giving him a unique perspective at the intersection of law, finance, and long-term wealth preservation. Based in the Woodlands, Texas, Matt helps clients understand how lawsuits, taxes, and poor planning can quietly erode wealth and how proactive strategies can help secure financial legacies for future generations. Matt, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Justin. What an intro.
Yeah, I want to make sure that intro is nice as possible for all our guests, and you certainly have a lot of accolades to speak of. So
Thank you.
happy to do so. Happy to do so. So, tell me, Matt. I know we were talking a little bit, before the show, just kind of riffing a bit. But in your own words, that was obviously a lot, right? But in your own words, who is Matt Meredith?
That's a deep philosophical question there. But to make it pointed and actually worth something, my background was wealth management, equities trading back on Boca Raton, Florida coast. And I shorted Lehman as the whole thing went down. And then I realized, all right, trading's over. Got into advising, worked my way up for several years through several companies, realized that the industry was missing some things and I needed a law degree. So I went to law school and got one. What I do a lot of today and who I am is I feel the industry is segmented and it has problems, and I'm here to try to fix that. I'm tired of trying to get advice from one person that is opposite of another person. And so I've said, you know what a good idea would be? To bring in legal, tax, and financial planning all under one roof, led by a team of people. So now the CPA is not sitting here saying something opposite of the attorney and they've never met before. And they're going back and forth, beating their chests over, hey, my idea is better. Now we're all in the room together with the client, probably for the first time in the client's life, all of his advisors in one spot. We're sipping coffee, eating kolaches, and saying, this is the path you should go. All agree.
Nice, nice. Living that good like kolaches. You got me hungry now.
I know. You don't even have to talk when you bring a kolache. People are just like, whatever you want.
Yeah, they anything you want at any point in time, of course. Yeah. Or one of those, I mean, you're from Houston, but I don't know if you ever went to or have been in Round Rock, Texas.
I have.
Yeah, the Round Rock Donuts place there.
Mhm.
Man, I definitely ate my way through college with those things.
Yeah. My wife doesn't let me eat bad anymore. I miss my college.
Mine either. She no sugar at all. Yeah. Um, I know that you, I mean, as a financial planner professional, right? You're doing a lot of proactive planning, and obviously you focus on real estate. And I think, that's probably an underserved sect from what I've seen, right? You're the first of your kind, I think, that's been on our podcast so far, that has combined everything under one roof. What are some of the most common strategies that you're helping your clients implement right now that's really helping them out from a tax sheltering perspective?
So when we look at the brokerage world, the investment management world, we see these large companies. You have your investments, mutual funds, ETFs. The advisor usually just has that one tool. It's what I can buy for you in this brokerage account. So when you're buying real estate, things like REITs, DSTs, you're really not getting that full advantage of it. And if you take the money out of the brokerage account and turn to the client and say, let's go buy real estate, we have better tax advantages with it. Your company comes and looks at you like, what, why did you tell him to pull money out of his brokerage account? What were you doing?
Yeah.
And that was a problem I always had. Well, and for the advisor, it makes sense. Well, do I really want to tell you to pull out $2 million to go buy an investment property that I manage and get paid on? No, absolutely not. I don't have that problem. But I can play the legal side as well, where I don't just have this hammer. So I don't look at everything as a nail. I've got a whole shed full of tools. And if it makes sense to diversify, let's pull money out, go into a real estate. Why real estate? Well, you know as well as I do. You have much better tax advantages when you're an active real estate investor. Not so much when you're passive, but that's a whole nother story in itself. And so now not only can we diversify our portfolio, let's get out of a market that's at an all-time high and protect some of our gains by buying real hard assets. We can deduct the depreciation. We have other costs associated with it. It's a long-term growth play that sits in a market where uncertainty lives. And so for a lot of people, it really becomes, hey, we're not confined to this one little bubble. Now we can break out and use your money in ways that other people can't. Here's the thing I find. There's a tool for everything. But sometimes you have to get uncomfortable and go do something you haven't done before that you're not comfortable doing. But you can certainly reap much higher rewards by doing that.
It's sometimes those risks are worth it, if you will. And I know from a real estate perspective, like, is it called deferred depreciation? Is that right? Is
There is the bird.
Yeah. Is because we had another gentleman that came on and he was talking about the 1031 exchange, for example, and he just kept saying defer, defer, defer. Never pay taxes on anything ever.
Well, and that's the beautiful aspects of it. You can't so much do that from an investment brokerage account like you can in real life. And that becomes a thing. And you see it with a lot of people who bought a long time ago. You want that stepped up cost basis when you die, because then the full value just jumps up. Nobody pays taxes on it. But I don't plan on dying next year. What's the plan here? So that my wife gets everything and I don't pay taxes in the meantime. And that's where you see a lot of 1031s, which you can do when you have these real estate plays, these investments is, okay, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to take the full thing, 1031 it into another property. And you just do it over and over and over again over the time.
Yeah, it's super important, and I'm glad you brought up around basically intimating around estate planning. So estate planning is another interesting concept too. And I know well, not firsthand, I guess it's be secondhand, but um, my father's my father's father, my grandfather, I never met. Unfortunately, he died when my dad was 16, and left my dad basically as a 16-year-old to try to be man of the house, right? Man of the family. And unfortunately, I think he was just too young. He didn't know what was going on. And his mother, my grandmother, didn't properly do estate planning. And all this money that my grandfather had worked so hard for, and he had a very successful business in Bay City, Michigan, unfortunately got victim of tax, right? Like most all of it was gone between paying the state and paying the feds, and just was not properly set up. There was no estate plan. Could you maybe just talk about, I mean, the importance of estate plans and why
Sure.
everyone should have one, or, maybe a basic will or something in place so that they don't reach that point where unfortunately, my father and grandmother, reached essentially.
Yes, to me, this is one of the most important things. Yes, we do an estate plan because we're planning on dying. That's
Mhm.
ultimately what happens. When I die, I want this person happy, but that's not really why we. The reason we're doing it, we spent all these years on this ground, working our butts off, building something, and I want to make sure that if I can't enjoy it, then the people who love can. And you see this all the time, especially with wealthy people who are over those credit limits. They don't plan for it. And all that hard money is now hit by the state and gift taxes when a very simple sit down. 40% is the state and gift tax. 40% of everything you build is taken. Now you look at people with, $50 million. That's a phenomenal amount of money versus having done an actual sit down and plan so that your children get everything, that your grandchildren get things, that life carries on, legacies are made. Those are the type of things that are easily planned. What I see though more common is the smaller people. Yeah, I don't have $50 million, but I work my butt off. I've got $5 million, but there is no plan in place. There's a
Yeah.
business that sits over here that you've made all this money in, and then you die, or even worse, you don't die. You buy a car and you go into a coma, and you wake up 3 years later and realize my business is gone. Why is it gone? Because nobody could walk into the bank and say, "Hey, Dad got knocked on the head. He's cuckoo in the hospital. I'm taking over. I need access to pay our employees." You know what the bank will tell you? Do you have any documents?
Documents that prove that. Yeah.
Because if not, you now have to go to a guardianship if they're incapacitated. And if they're dead, guess what? You're going to probate. Probate takes a long time. And in the meantime, all that money that's spent for the probate, that business sits there. Nobody gets paid. Nobody continues to work for free. So that business that dad built, that he worked his rear off to make, slowly starts winding down on its own. And then by the time probate's over, you go to sell that business. It's worth pennies on the dollar, all because nobody sat there and said, if something happens to me, what's going to work? How's it going to happen? I mean, probate itself, it's not horrible. It's doable. But when you built things out, when you built out these investment properties and now nobody can go sell them,
Hmm.
nobody can really go manage them. There's nothing in there that allows the authority to happen. It just all dwindles down. Why? Because you didn't want to spend a couple of hours making an uncomfortable plan reality.
It's so silly to me, right? And it's such a miss that that happens. And I just want to make sure our audience out there, they're good students. I promise that they're taking notes and really do something about this. The time, and by the way, I would think you would agree with the time to do it is when now, right?
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And,
how?
and here's a funny thing for it. I'm an estate plan. So I can build out anything like I can make all kind of crazy stuff and whatever I want. I can imagine I'll build out. For years, my wife and I sat there unwilling to do our own estate plan because we didn't want to have the conversation of, if I die, what's gonna happen. Finally, I just built it out. And then there was this amazing feeling of, okay, Dutch, she will be taken care of. My nephews and nieces, they'll get some money. Everything's gonna be great. But then that fear of, oh, I completed the plan. Now I'm gonna die. Right? But that's the reality of it. Just get it done. It's worth it to get it done and stop worrying about it. And if you own businesses, it's not about death. It's about continuation.
100%. That's funny. It's like, oh, it becomes real because if you follow personal development and laws of the universe and speaking things into existence, it's like, oh shit, I just spoke that into existence. Like you said, that what's up?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Here's another thing you see all the time. So you'll have a child of somebody. They'll call you up and say, "Hey, my mom died. She never added a beneficiary to her brokerage account. So I need to probate. The banks won't give me any of the money. The brokerage firm won't do it without letters." Okay, no problem. Let's do it. Then you find out she was married and he died several years ago. So as you know, Texas community property,
Mhm.
half of that doesn't go to the son and goes to the spouse. And
Yeah.
so now you can't get that other half unless you probate dad too. So now you are spending all this money, two probates, for a form that all you had to do was write a name in it when you opened it and annually checked it with your advisor. Instead, you're spending thousands of dollars waiting months to go through two probates. And you know what I hear most, Justin, is "Yeah, it's not worth it. It's only like 100 grand. It's just let the bank keep it."
Yeah, because they're gonna do a lot of good with that 100 grand that they took from you, right?
It's the state can't wait.
They can. I'm gonna borrow that. That's catchy.
You get one.
Um, so we're gonna transition into the last segment of our show today. I'm gonna ask you a couple fun questions, like we talked
All
about
right.
every show here. So here's the first one. I want you to imagine. So speaking of estate planning and whatnot, actually, this is kind of an estate planning type question in a weird way. Um, but let's imagine it's your last day on Earth, and you can only preserve three items in your time capsule. What are those items and why?
A picture of the dog I had for 14 years, Shepherd,
Uh-huh.
who was my baby. And I want other people to see how cute my dog was. Because he was the best wingman I ever had. He used him to get my wife.
Oh, that's such a cute story.
I, I mean, since we're on the topic, a copy of my full estate plan, which I am so proud of. Yeah. And then maybe a letter to the next generation.
Oh,
What life was like, where I went wrong, what
that,
not to do, guidance or something like that.
that's okay. That's very cool. And by the way, that didn't take you long at all to answer. I tell you what, I ask this every week with every guest that I have on here, and you definitely were the quickest draw of anyone so far. So it's like you were the one, the golden one that was ready for this question, I guess.
Yeah, there you go, man. This lawyer financial mind sitting there. I throw something out there.
No, but that's fun, and what a cute story about your dog and meeting your wife that way. So, I mean, now you got to tell it. Like, what was the how did you I guess meet her or pick her up with the dog?
So I had a Samoyed. He was my baby Samoyed. I had gotten him back in 2010. I was living by myself. This was my first dog, and he was just a beautiful dog. And I realized quickly that go to the park and everybody, oh my God, your dog's so fluffy and beautiful and kind of. And so it dawned on me, this is weird. And sure enough, yeah, I had a comment come through. Your dog is so pretty. And it was like,
Nice. It's like people that do that with their cute little babies, where you just did it with a cute dog.
yep, yep, yep.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. So the second question is this: what is your definition of a real estate rock star?
Ooh, that one take me longer because there's so many different things that you want to look at. For example, diversification, understanding what you're doing. I look at things as far as the estate planning side. Have you set it up properly? Because let me tell you something, if you have everything in one LLC and one guy falls through the roof, one tenant who shouldn't have even been up there in the first place and decides to sue you, now everything's up for grabs and everything you worked for is up for grabs. So have you set up your structure that when somebody comes to me, for example, and says, I want you to sue this guy, I'm his tenant. I look at it, I see the structure and say, yeah, good luck. I'm out. Like, you don't have the money to do this because I can't even figure out who this guy is. It's all anonymously. Those are the type of things I see for real estate. And for real estate, it's not just, hey, buy properties on them. Stop being taxed to death when you sell them, when you buy new properties. Do cost segregations. Use the tax strategies that are available to real estate owners so that you're saving money. It's really be smart about it. You could have, a $250 billion portfolio But if it's not owned properly and you lose it all, your family loses it all, and it all goes down to the drain because you die or become incapacitated, what good did it do?
Mhm. Wow. I mean, that's so well said. I mean, I can only imagine, and yeah, I mean, just so necessary to do. Like it's just such a simple thing. So awesome. Well, Matt, we've really enjoyed having you on here today. Let's make sure, I want to make sure my audience, my subscribers out there that seems to be growing can find and connect with you. So where should they do that?
Probably the easiest way is the website. Meridian Legal Advisors is the name of the company. The website is Meridian LG, and that's spelled Meridian. Meridian point on a map. We are on Facebook. I'm all over LinkedIn. You can Google me, you'll find me. And if you're looking for help with estate planning, tax strategy, business formation, entity, all these different things that we can help you with, reach out to us. We're happy to talk to you.
Amazing. There you have it, folks. An absolute masterclass this morning by Mr. Matt Meredith. Matt, thanks again for coming on our show. Folks, we here, same time, same place next week, next Wednesday. Everyone have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you then.